You are listening to the Wild Man Podcast.
All right, go ahead, Sib.
So without further ado, this is I mean I can't say this is amazing. This is the no, I really don't even know how to give it a good introduction, but if this is like drink champs, we would have a Jamaican horn, man, and it would be just like BX, we have one of the iconic legendary Phil Vazquez from Irate.
Thank you, bud. That's a hell of an intro, and you're making me
Yeah,
blush.
I couldn't think about how to do it. There's so much to think about. I mean, there's so
Thank you, man. I
much
really
to
appreciate that.
do.
It's very humbling, guys. Thank you.
Mr.
Yeah, I
Phil.
greatly appreciate it. Uh, Irate is one of by far the Quad City's favorite bands of all time. So at least you know you're loved in my
All
neck of
right,
the
that's cool
woods.
to know. Hell yeah, hell yeah.
The weird thing about life is you can literally say that there is a part on the Drippin' record that I was thinking irate. Like, you know what I mean? So I like I was we were huge fans. You guys were obviously in front of us. So I'm gonna take it to maybe a little bit of history. We're just
Sure.
gonna chat and freestyle. My friend was in a band, Third Degree. To make a long story short, they used to be called Suffer. I think somehow we wound up at Castle Heights,
Mm.
and you guys were playing. I think things started getting crazy. We introduced each other, Gigi
Yeah,
from the Bronx. I think
yeah,
she's the one that made the link. I think I might have bumped into someone. She came up to me like, what the hell are you doing in the pit? Or something like that. I was like, oh,
sure.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just moshing hard. And I think it was you guys were playing Castle Heights. And I think that's how we started linking up the connection. Then there were some tiny little clubs, Screwy Louie's and Carney,
Yeah,
right?
I remember that place
Oh
for
wait,
sure.
that whole
Yeah,
era
yeah,
came up when you guys started coming around.
yeah,
Screwy Louie's, did you guys play Pipeline, dude? No, you guys
yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
Did you
We
go?
played
You
one
got to the
time.
Pipeline, not Studio One. You didn't
No,
never.
no, that's yeah, Pipeline.
Right.
Just one show though.
But yeah,
And it was
so
with like 25 to Life, and I don't recall the other bands playing that night, but yeah.
I wind
The
up
rowdy crowd. It was a very good show, and my friend's car got stolen. So it was very typical of the Newark,
Newark, New Jersey,
car
the Pipeline,
thefts.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, again, a lot of years, a lot of people, a lot of partying for me, at least, if
sure.
I speak for myself. So I want to take it back. So Gigi was humongous Irate fan. I want to say Nick was the drummer, right? Nick?
Yeah, yeah, Nick.
Okay,
Wait,
yes.
no, UV. Sorry,
UV was the drummer.
forgot my
Sorry,
own
Nick.
bandmates for a second.
I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm a
yeah,
terrible name person. So,
UV, which was short for Yuval. Yeah,
so that's how I made the connection, and then I wind up hanging out with Dave Urban, who played bass for 25 to Life.
yeah,
Somehow
Dave. Yeah,
in the mix, and you guys are just popping around everywhere, and it's extremely heavy. But here comes these guys they got some grit, but everybody can play their instruments. So Phil, just how did this get boiled into what became Irate? Because a lot of bands were more hardcore-ish, but you guys had a lot of like you were doing your homework in a way.
well, the first thing I'm going to say is that yes, we were engulfed in the hardcore scene, and
Correct.
they were the ones that opened the arms to us.
Correct.
They just embraced us. But at heart, Irate is a metal band.
And I didn't know how to
But because
voice
of our
that.
urban right?
Correct.
Bronx hood shit, like we had the groove, we had that, that Bronx hip hopish flavor to it,
Right.
and we mixed so many things into one entity, like we had the death metal influences, we had metal, we had hardcore, all into one thing, because we didn't want to limit ourselves musically.
Correct.
We didn't want to be a one trick pony. That was never the plan.
No.
But it became a thing where we were too hardcore for metal and too metal for hardcore for a little bit. But then hardcore, because we had those grooves and because we had that, we didn't look like your average metal band. We were like hip hop out, wearing baggy clothes and shit like that, um, that we kind of just fit in anyway, and, we started playing a lot of hardcore bills, and, people just started to gravitate to what we were doing. They got it, and like, okay, they're not super hardcore, but man, they got the grooves and they're heavy as fuck. And, at least that's what they were telling us, and we're into this. We want to fuck people up to this music, and it just started to happen. And, so yeah, like metal band at heart, but, with so many different influences that we were not afraid to put in our music.
Well, I recall being at I think, like maybe like just seeing you at a Morbid Angel show at
Sure.
Wetlands, you know what I mean, when Irate wasn't playing or something like that,
Yeah, yeah.
of that sort. The thing that got me was that, I'm like, okay, now, and I'm trying again, I'm doing everything off the top. I'm trying demo pre-burden, right? Um, and fast forward a little bit, and maybe my dates names might be a little off, but I remember just Nando setting up and just doing sweep arpeggios, and I'm like, there's something really fucking different about these guys. You know what I
Right.
mean? Hearing your guy UV, because coming, I'm a death metal guy. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Sure.
Um, a huge death metal fan, and I'm like,
So am
these
I.
guys, like it was that little candy that started to make sense
Yeah.
and catch me to where these guys, okay, oh, this guy can play a lot. He plays a lot of double bass. He's got the clicky on the kick drums, and that started separating you guys. You know what I mean? That was so take us back to the formation of Irate, if we could. Obviously, the streets, the environment put you in the category of hardcore. I wouldn't call you a hardcore band if I had to talk like a purist and put you through a filter. To me, you're a metal band. But tell me how the process got started.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say is that Nando Red Rum and I,
It's amazing.
we grew up together. Like we went to school together, and junior high school is when I met him. But we were really early on in our lives, and you know, we started getting, because we're Bronx kids, so the first influences are like hip hop and Spanish music, Latin music,
Big
but
fun.
everybody, Big Pun, Wu Tang, all that, Cypress, everything. But even Run DMC, I'll go back to all the way to then. Just like those early hip hop influences, and then the neighborhood music. You had freestyle, you had Latino music, you had hip hop, and you didn't have any metal. So, but I happened to just catch it on the radio one day. I caught like GNR, uh, Paradise City, and it made me like what the fuck is this? Like soloing and Axel's voice. It was very attractive to me, and I've said this in a million interviews. That just caught me. So I wanted to learn more about GNR and metal and all that stuff, and I did the research. You didn't have the internet back then, so you
No,
had to ask people. Like I would run
the
into
island radio.
metalheads, yeah, or just be on the radio all the time, or ask metalheads in school, like, hey, what you like this band, you like that band, and you learn. and you start checking out other things. But what changed the game for me personally was Metallica, of course. I always say that. Hearing "Injustice for All" for the first time just changed my life. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here right now.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah,
I
"Justice
can, I
for
can, I
All,"
can hear the similarities in some of the tones
sure,
of
sure. Like,
Nando.
oh yeah, yeah. And it was a heavy influence on him. And we got into a lot of bands together. And as we progressed in years, we got into heavier shit. Because we would hang out with fellow metalheads and they'd be
Oh,
like, yo,
yeah.
check this out. Have you heard Deicide? Have you heard Brujeria? Have you heard Cannibal? Have you heard Madball? It all just came to us. And we gravitated to a lot of those things, Biohazard, all that shit. But yeah, at the core of it, Metallica was probably the biggest influence on everyone in Irate. Um, that's the one band that we automatically had in common. Especially the first four records. That's the standard of metal to me, and will always be. And Hetfield is kind of a god to me. Even now, like you could talk all this shit about their sellouts and this. I don't give a shit about that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Hetfield gave me purpose. He gave me something to look up to and something to work towards. And so, like, I'm always going to hold them in that high regard, and I'll follow them. I've
Fuck
seen
yeah,
them in so
man.
many different
Hetfield.
states. I'm going to see them at the Sphere, like, at least 60 Metallica shows under my belt. Um, and they are it. So, but Nando and I grew up together. So we had this bond, and Nando to see the origins of Nando's playing is something that I marvel at because he's a musical genius. But
Absolutely.
I was there from day one, and just to see how by ear he would just naturally be able to get things and play them, and it was awe inspiring. So we started a band together when we were in high school, and it didn't work out. We jammed. I played bass at the time. Um, and we tried, but it didn't go forward. So I kind of like was in between bands when he met Nick and Yuvi. And he and they, started jamming together. I'll make a long story short there, but they had something going. And then Nando called me one afternoon and he said, "Listen, I've been jamming with these dudes and they're writing some cool shit. And I think you'd be perfect to come in and try this vocal stuff." And I said, well, "Yeah, let's do this." So I went down and rehearsed, learned a song. Nick taught me the first song we would ever write and perform, "Step to My World." And I learned that over the course of an afternoon. And at that time, I had Juan Brujo in my head. I had Glenn Benton in my head. I had Rob Flynn, Machine Head, in my head. I had
Okay.
all, and Max Cavalera. I give a shout out to Max. Um,
We
so
can't
I
forget
had all
Mac.
these different things in my mind of how I wanted to approach this heavy ass music. And we gave it a go. And as a young, full of himself kid, I was like, "So I'm your new singer now, let's get this going." And they were like, "Really?" But it was true because I got the gig that day, and then we just started to do the thing, write music. We spent like an entire summer, or half a year even, writing tunes, before we were ready to play our first show. But so Nick and Yuvi knew each other too. They went to high school together. So it was a combination of four people, two who went to high school, another two who went to high school, had all these different influences coming together.
So is this from all parts of the Bronx?
So UV was from Riverdale in the Bronx. Me and Nanda were down the hill. Um, so the three of us were from the Bronx, and then Nick was Manhattan and then Queens.
Manhattan, Queens. Okay.
Yeah, but he spent so much goddamn time in the Bronx that he's one of,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Grandfathered in.
He's grandfathered. Because the Bronx is where we would rehearse. We would rehearse at UV's house because his dad had a house in Riverdale, and we would, jam in his room. So bless his dad for allowing us to make all that
Yeah,
noise in a very
yeah.
Jewish neighborhood where we were hated by everyone, and I'm sure he got a lot of flack for that. But God bless him, man. He let us rock, and we were able to write the early irate stuff there.
That's amazing, man. And I don't want to take control of this because I'm going to go down the rabbit hole and ask you about Nando and pick your brains about him. But
Sure.
that might be
I
like
mean, if
another
anyone's
day. You got to
qualified
get
to
him on
talk
here.
about him, it's
Yeah,
me.
is he like a classical guitar trained classical player? Because he's freaking amazing, you know?
I mean, I'm going to say that he has studied all of those things.
Yeah.
He takes music very, theory, all of those things he's taken influence from. He's definitely not a one trick pony at all. And he can compose music for like he just did like some composing for a movie. Like Nando's just on some other level, like I put Nando up there with the Friedmans of the world, the
Oh,
Beckers of the world.
absolutely.
It's a shame that more people don't know about him.
You don't
He should
know.
be the
Yeah.
most famous person in the band, because of his guitar skill and his
I,
music composing skills as a whole.
him, Mark Rizzo, Mark
Yeah,
Rizzo
yeah.
and Nando, they need to be men. People need to mention those guys with the Invade Malmsteens with the Steve Vais. And this is no fucking, I'm not sugarcoating this, but I'm really telling you
Not
guys,
either. I'm always
you
going to
guys
give
need to
Nando
be
his
mentioned.
flowers.
Rizzo, Nando, they need to be up there with the Steve Vais, the Joe Satrianis. These guys are shredders.
100%. 100%.
Guys are gunslingers. They can hold their shit. And like that was, when I would hear Irate warm up and when you guys are setting up, that it was a pleasure just to hear him. And the other guy was good too. The rhythm
Yeah,
guitar player,
Nick.
Nick.
Nick is the
Yeah,
heart and soul of Irate, and we'll get into that. But
yeah. And I'm not
um,
to downplay any rhythm player because I'm a rhythm player myself. But just Nando, it was just that candy
yeah,
was.
Nando's next level for
Oh,
sure.
dude, this guy rips. You know what I
And
mean?
my son has benefited greatly from him, because
Sounds
he
good too.
he is the one that taught my son everything he knows.
No
Um,
shit.
they spent years together, uh, teacher and student, and I'm forever indebted to Nando for that because Jason is nasty, man, and that's because, and he'll
That
tell you the
Bark of
same
the Moon
thing.
tribute that they did when that Bark of the Moon tribute thing when Ozzy died,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, Jesus, this is amazing, dude. I'm a huge Ozzy fan, so and seeing Martine and everybody, that was great. That was so nice. That was killer, killer,
yeah, yeah, for
nailed
sure,
it.
man. Jason, like Nando, takes what they do very seriously, and I'm very proud of that relationship. They're very close, and it's been amazing to watch them write music together for Knights of the Black, which we'll get into
Yeah,
later on. But yeah, it's been a cool being there to watch Nando from day one has been a really awe-inspiring thing, and he just continue. He's not done learning. He's always learning new
that's a great mindset to
techniques.
have.
Yeah, yeah. Never. He
No
never
one's
stays
ever done learning,
complacent.
right?
He's not built that way. He's always trying to learn better techniques, how to improve and all that. And I'm like, how the fuck do you improve? You're a fucking musical genius. But he does. And it's cool to watch, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and not to go down the rabbit hole. I remember just it was a guitar, a cable into a valve state amp. There was not a crazy fucking processor, nothing. It was all in the playing, it was all in the
Bare
valve state.
bones. Yep.
Maybe a little tiny bit of reverb. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. Jacob, just so you know the history, Knights of the Black, Jason's Phil's son and Nando are in that band. You know that, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, well,
I've done a
we can dive
lot of
into it.
research today.
Gotcha. Phil, so let's fast track. So we're Irate demo, right? Did you have an identity that like because you're kind of you have a footprint, you have a heavy footprint in the New York hardcore scene. You know what I'm saying? Like you're very recognized. Again, you also have a heavy footprint in the metal scene. So you're managed to balance both and I don't want to speculate and I don't want to speak for you, but I want to possibly say it was the New York hardcore. It was possibly because your environment, but you're listening, but you're what you were trained and what your ear was more of a metal person, correct? Am I
Yeah.
wrong? Or
Yeah, no, at the heart, I'm more metal than everything else.
I
But
figured that.
as death metally even, you know, but I have so much love for New York hardcore and
Yes.
hardcore worldwide, not just regionalized, but that it's always going to be an influence, you know. And all of my friends, most of my network, they're all New York hardcore or hardcore based all over the world. And metal too. Like I've just been fortunate to be part of multiple
Very lucky.
scenes, that I have had so many wonderful relationships with. Like even the new school metal bands like Esquala Grind, Peeling Flesh, Snuffed on
Yeah.
Sight, they're all my homies. And it's weird, even like Frozen Soul. Like I met those guys and lady a few years ago. And
Texas,
when I met Chad,
right?
he goes, I love Irate. Now, this is a band from Texas, doing something completely different than what we were doing. And to hear him say that he was influenced by us was so incredible. Same thing with Peeling Flesh, like they're huge Irate fans. I didn't know that um, until I met them, and I was just like taken back by that because Irate's been broken up for 20 years. By that reason alone, no one should know who the fuck we are. But it appears to just get bigger and bigger and grow more and grow more. And it's influenced a whole new generation of bands. Um, and it's just like, it's really humbling, guys, to get that love, to get that respect, because all we ever wanted to do was play and make friends and resonate with the children or the kids or the adults that we were playing in front of and have them go home influenced by us or into us and into our music, and it's just really grown and it continues to grow, and it's really cool, man. Like I can't say enough about that and how amazing that is. And for all of us, because we're all very close to this day. Like people say, well, why don't they get back? Do they have beef? Not at all. It's just one of
Right.
those things that has not happened for a multitude of different reasons that has
Mhm.
nothing to do with beef
There's no
or
issues.
animosity or
Right.
anything like that. Like I hang out with them as much as I can. I see Nando pretty regularly. I see UV regularly as well. Nick, when we can, and he's a business owner now. So is UV. So we try to get it in as much as possible. So it's all love there. That's the one thing I'm gonna say. It's all love between us because we there's something really special. And when you're in a band, you're gonna have your days where you get on each other's nerves and all that stuff. Um, but it was never something that carried itself to like major issues. And I even left the band for a year and a half, in 99 to like 2001-ish. And we did have a little bit of friction then, because I left the band during a very important time.
You left
Um,
Irate?
yeah, I left it for about a year and change.
99
In
to 2000.
99, yeah. It was a few months after we played with Deicide, which
I
was
remember
one of
that show. Was that
that
Wetlands?
show was the Coney Island High.
Coney Island High, sorry. Coney Island
That
High.
was
Okay.
the most insane New York irate show ever.
There's pictures of that, I think, of like Nando and Glenn, right? Or
Yeah,
you
me,
were
Glenn,
I've seen
yeah,
pictures of that.
Nando, that was
That's
cool
iconic,
because
bro.
it was so
Iconic.
violent for us that Glenn paid attention. And he, at the time the opening bands were not allowed to come down and hang out in their area.
That's how it was,
But
huh?
he told security, these guys are fucking awesome. Let them and their people come downstairs. And we had a great time. Like he was really into it. He's like, we're deicide and we see violent shit wherever we go. But what I saw tonight was fucking mayhem. And you guys are cool, bro. And we had Jägermeister with him. We smoked the blunt with him.
I
Um, and
wish
for
I was
me,
there.
it was a top moment because I
I could
worshiped
imagine.
Deicide as a teenager. So to get that stamp from him
You get that
was
clap from Glenn, you know?
and it was next level. I'm sure 30 years later he don't remember it, but like that moment is something that stays with me forever.
No, I remember the flyer. Like I said, there's pictures, there's memories of pictures floating on the internet, maybe. And how could he not? I mean, you guys playing in New York, right? At sort of your peak, and
Yeah, that
the
was definitely peak. We packed it out just as much as they did.
yeah,
And it was just war between death
yeah.
metal and hardcore kids. Just
And
thumping it out for 40 minutes. Like it got so bad that the sound man was telling us to stop playing. They wanted to cut us off. And we were like, fuck you, man. This is a rare opportunity for us. We're gonna keep rocking until you unplug us.
no, that
Um,
must have been a monumental moment for,
it was, and we finished the set with Damage Incorporated.
sick.
And the place
Sick.
just went to shit, bro. Like it was absolute chaos, and in a good way for us. But yeah,
Wow.
so shortly after that, I was just going through some things. I had a newborn. I mean, I was a new father, and trying to juggle fatherhood, work, band, like a lot of different things, and I just needed some time. But at the time, we were supposed to sign with Spitfire Records, which had like Testament and Crowbar and a lot of bands. And I just couldn't commit at the time. And so I said, I need to step back. I didn't quit. I just said, I need to step back. But they decided to go on without me for that year. So they had a guy come in. His name was Joe Riley. And they tried. They tried with him, but it didn't mesh with the fans. They weren't into him. And they felt that kind of burn for a while. And at some
There's
point
some
things
people you can't replace.
uh, I will
There,
never say
no
that,
offense, no,
but
and I'm sure
but
the person he has some big shoes to step up to, right?
yeah, I mean,
And
yeah,
no insult to the person. I mean,
no, not at all.
you know who he is, but there's
And I
some it's tough.
understood. I
It's a tough
understood
role.
their need to go on. I wanted them to, because
Correct.
we built something, and I wanted that to keep going.
Was this after the records?
So this was after Burden.
This is after Burden.
This is in between the Burden era and the 1134.
11:30.
So I came
So
back for
there was
1134.
some internal chaos going on, huh?
So yeah, there was some chaos, and we didn't speak to each other for a while. They were angry with me, and I understood that, But time heals, and my life kind of changed for the better. I got my act together, and where I wanted to be, and had more control of early fatherhood and job, and had space in my heart. So at some point, we all met up. We got rid of a lot of shit that we needed to say to each other, and we let it go. And I came back. They got rid of the person who took my place because they just weren't happy with him. And then I stayed for the duration. And we made it happen. We started to go abroad and do special things and some nice tours and all DIY. But we made it happen. Like I can sit here and say that we lived the dream. It wasn't to the level of some other bands and their opportunities, but for a DIY, we did our thing and we got our name known all over the world, and it continues to pay us back. all these years later, and it's really marvelous. And I appreciate it all, and I want to take this time to just thank the new generation of fans, the old generation that taught the new generation about us, and to all the homies out there, that are doing it now, that are bringing what we did back then forward to bigger and better things. Continued success to you all. And I love you, man. You guys are doing it, and you guys are inspiring me 30 years later to still have an ear for this, hang out. You, Sebastian, if you're in New York, I'm hanging out everywhere. Like we
Absolutely.
met, we
Yeah,
met at that
up in
Peeling
Brooklyn,
Flesh,
yeah. Yep.
My boy Gutter put that on, and shout out to Gutter Christ, a good friend of mine. And I love meeting new bands. I love seeing the growth and the journey, and I get inspired by that, man. I really
If
do.
there's any bands to suggest in my area, definitely check out. It's a younger band. They're in their early 20s. They're called 12 Gauge Autopsy.
I've heard them. I don't know their music, but I definitely heard that name 100%. So I'm gonna
Sorry, I had a nerd out with the notepad, Phil, because
delve into that.
I got a
Thank
lot
you,
for you.
Jacob.
Oh, no problem. Like, it's 12. So like, there's a band called 12 Gauge. They're like a younger Dying Fetus band.
I
Say,
It's
love
a
Dying Fetus.
trio. Like Dying
That's
Fetus
my
is
shit.
three
absolute.
pieces are always sick, dude. If you can hold it down as a three piece, there's no hiding, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing. There's
Oh
no,
no.
there's no hiding anything. I love a tight three piece, man. And I remember the
Fetus.
first band Snag, crossover, death metal, hardcore, even hip hop. They were a three piece, and they were so fucking tight, and they were
Yeah.
so good. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll give it up to three pieces that are really tight because there's a lot. It takes a lot of work and dedication because you're not going to hide. There's no one. You got to do your job. He has to do his job. We all got to do our jobs. You know what I mean? That's a. I love three pieces. I love bands like that.
And that's why I love Fetus so much, because they do it at such a high level. Like I've seen them a million
They're
times over my
amazing.
life. I even played with them once, and they're just perfect,
No, they're
you
perfect.
know, and they fucking pound you to death. Um,
They're,
from
they're
the
really
first
good.
note to the last, and it's just inspiring too that they're still doing it at a very high level.
Yeah.
Um, so shout out to them as well, man. I love them to death.
Oh yeah. Like, that's why I tell a lot of people, like, music brings everybody together some way, shape, or form. It could be through music. It could be you're into podcasting. You're
Yeah.
into anything. And like the local bands, I love going out to like the local shows, because if you don't support the local scene, who do you really support?
Have to support the local bands. That's correct.
Absolutely.
And
All
like
day,
there's like
all day.
so many bands from this area like I love so much. Like my roommate, shout out to Alex. He's in a band called Integument. That's a deathcore band that literally started off with program drums because it's so hard to find a drummer nowadays in their area we are.
Always fucking hard to
Yes.
find a drummer.
Yes, which is why Knights of the Black is not a live thing, but we'll get into that. But yes, drummers are, oh my God, the
So
worst.
the drums
Fine.
going down the rabbit hole of the drummer. I remember bringing Crumbling CD. We're at dripping practice and we stopped because we went to music in Garfield. I forgot the name of the record store. We stopped dripping practice maybe to year to 99, 2000, 2000, fucking I don't know. But I remember we stopped dripping practice. We went to get the Irate CD. We all sat down together and we were listening to it. And what sticks to me is Bronx Unity. How come that faded out of the set list?
Um,
I love that song.
I think it was
That's a
because
fucking hit.
it is. And I've gone down the irate rabbit hole recently. Just every couple of years I'll do it. Like I won't listen to irate stuff, and then all of a sudden I'll be in the mood for it, and I'll go down the hole, right? And I'll revisit history in my mind and all that. Especially when I see all these irate memes and videos and covers from all these bands. sometimes, it inspires me to just go back and revisit it because I want to hear what they're hearing. Like, why do you like this band? And I try to put myself out of the irate space, but listen to it as a fan, and see what would grab me if I were listening to this kind of band for the first time. But as far as Bronx Unity, I think, once we recorded 1134,
Learn to-
it's that new baby, it's that new toy,
Right.
and you're tired of years of playing certain songs.
I understand.
You know,
You
so
personally hate it. The fans love it. They're like, why can you
I
do
didn't
that?
hate it, but we were
Not
moving
hate it,
on.
but you're yes,
Yeah,
yes, correct.
we
No,
were moving
I
on.
completely understand on a band
Yeah,
standpoint.
because that kind of song is kind of what made us what we are. Like, it grabbed so many kids. It was a great sing along when we
Mhm.
were playing it in the early years. And it would set things off. Like
Oh,
it
I would
really
set it
got
off
people
to that
charged
last
up. Yeah,
that last slam, Bronx Unity.
yeah,
Bronx, oh my
yeah.
goodness.
So
I
yeah,
remember
we loved playing it, but at the
I
same time, we
picture
were
little
trying to
Greg and those guys
progress.
spinning cartwheels all over the
All
place,
of that, all the kung fu stuff.
destroying things. What a great time to be
Venues
alive.
hated us because we would mess up their venues, and there were a few times where we were threatened legal action. Especially, we played this. It's now infamous, but as far as the irate history, there was a show that we did on a boat. It was a booze cruise.
I wish I could have made that, man. I've seen videos of it. Gutter went to that.
Yeah, Gutter is the one that shot it. So it was absolute mayhem. There was holes in the ceilings and in the walls and everywhere. And they cut us off after 5 songs. They were like, fuck this. You're going to destroy this boat. And we can't, the insurance is not going to cover all this craziness that you've already inflicted here. Fuck you. You're not playing anymore. And it worked
Crazy.
out because the mic broke at the end. And, we were doing Transcendence a cappella, the whole crowd. It was
Oh shit.
bananas. It was bananas, bro. Like, I can't tell you how fun and legendary that show was for us. But yeah, they threatened to sue the shit out of us afterwards. I'm glad they didn't. We broke. We had nothing to give them. But they were like so pissed because we fucked that boat up. We did. And it was awesome. And yeah, it's a fond memory for sure.
I had to give it to you guys. You guys are one of the earliest ones, which I mean, your music already did it for us. We were fans, and in Dripping, we were fans of Irate. It was George's feature, right? George from the Humanize too. I
Yeah,
never
so
opportunity, right? That was so cool.
no, actually he
That
did
was like a hip hop thing, right?
he didn't do Bronx Unity. What he did was he did backup vocals for Gone.
Oh, that's what he did. Not Bronx Unity. Yes.
So when I'm going gone, it's gone. He's doing the it's gone with Nando, and they're really death metaling it up.
Yes.
So like that was his contribution. And George, let me speak on him and the Humanize for a second. Like there was something that they played our very first show ever. It was us and them at Castle Heights in September of '96. And I had never seen or heard of them, but when I saw them that day, I was instantly hooked. They had everything I loved about New York death metal,
Fucking, they do it, man.
And they don't get enough credit for the influence that they had on even bands like Dying Fetus who covered them.
We covered them. We covered Kingdom
Them.
of Cruelty. And
Great
they
song.
asked us to do an EP. They're like, hey, here, we're gonna cut you a deal for an EP. You gotta do, 4 originals and a cover. I'm like, we're doing the Humanized Kingdom of Cruelty. I don't give a fuck. Figure out how to play it. I messaged Rich. I'm like, Rich, can you send me a video or something? We pulled it off somehow in our way, but
Sure, because you
God,
want to
for
add your
God's
flavor to a cover, you know what I'm saying?
and George on that fucking double bass part that
Well,
nobody
that's the
did.
thing. That's what I want to say. Like, I wasn't seeing drummers like that regularly.
locally.
Well,
But George was that motherfucker.
he was the
And to
truth.
see him play was an absolute pleasure. To go to their rehearsals on occasion, to really form a bond with those guys. Like him and Rich are always going to be homies to me. They had different singers over the years,
Yeah, yeah. I
like
remember Jerry was
John, my boy
singing.
Mike, all those guys. And shout out to all those guys because they were all great. But those two at the heart are the heart and soul of Dehumanize and what they had going.
Oh yeah, I think
And
Rich is a brilliant guitar player. I was
yeah,
telling him, and I
yeah.
said I think Rich writes like one of the. He's fucking so creative. The shit he writes is fucking bananas. It's
And I'm
got that
glad to see
flavor.
him back because he's playing with, um,
Ablation.
yeah, Blazin, and teamed up with the singer of Sanguisugabog, which is cool. And I met him recently at Despise Icon
He was
and
singing with us, Devin,
Sanguisugabog.
too.
Oh,
He was
there,
singing for Dripping for a little bit, and
nice. I
how
did
I
not
was
know
able to.
that. That's cool.
That's how I was able to hear the ablation before I heard that
Ah,
road when we're on, like, I think we're going from state to state, we're on tour, and he's like, yo, you want to hear the ablation? I was like, this is fucking killer, bro. I'm like,
I.
this is everything I want to hear in a band. I'm like,
That's
this is,
awesome.
yeah, I'm like, Rich can write his ass off.
Yeah.
Now, Devin obviously is busy. He's too busy
Oh
doing.
yeah. But let me tell you something about him. So they did a tour with Despise Icon recently.
Yes.
And Despise Icon, my homies, like Alex is my dude. Like I played with Despise during my Judas Syndrome days.
I,
Um,
I never got to hear. I seen you live in New Brunswick. Was it New Brunswick?
Probably, and I know we hit Jersey several times.
New Brunswick. Seen you live once at Court
I think
Tavern.
it was. I
Court
think
Tavern.
New Brunswick. We played with early version of Fit for an Autopsy.
And I was like, okay, yes, I seen you and Fit,
Yeah,
New
yeah.
Brunswick, Court
Shout out to
Tavern.
my boy
It was
Pat
a
too.
great show, man.
Yeah, Pat and I go back all the way back.
Yeah,
And I'm happy to see him doing big things with Fifth
Pat's
on
doing big things
Autopsy.
too. We got to get Pat on the
Yeah,
we got to
get
get
Pat on
Pat
here,
on the
man. Good,
podcast.
good guy, man. I got nothing but good things to say about Pat. But
That's a good.
going back to Sanguisuga Bog, so I go to that tour. I'm chilling upstairs, and I introduce myself to Devin, and he ends up telling me that he loves Irate. Like I had no idea. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome, man, because that kid's got some special shit going on. His
Yeah,
voice is
definitely,
sick. The band is sick. I love that they have that old school 90s sound, but modernized. That kind of like
yeah,
old school death metal, but like for today. And I love that. I think it's fucking good. And I'm a fan. I'm a definite fan.
definitely doing it. He's doing big things, and I love Devin. He's my brother. I love
He
him to
was a
death.
very our interaction was short, but he was very sweet to me. And so
He's
I
an
just want to give him,
encyclopedia of metal, Phil.
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, and I don't mean to cut you off because I'll forget. He is a guy. I'll name a band, and he's like, "Of course, I know." Like he is a fucking. And so when we were the time that we got to spend on the road together when he was singing for Dripping, we were bumping Irate. We were like, and this I'm just tech quizzing this guy, and he's like on it. He knew it. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you did your fucking homework, man. You know what I mean? He's a good dude. He's a
You could
good dude.
tell. You could tell.
And he deserves everything that he does. He deserves it, man. And he's going to get a lot more too because he's a great human. Devin, big ups to him, man.
Big ups, big ups. I really love the new stuff too. And yeah, man. Like I'm so happy to see that metal is so big right now. All forms of it. When I was young, death metal wasn't playing in like arenas or big places or big festival, but look at them now.
Yeah.
You know, they're the heavier you are, the bigger you get. Like kids love the heavy shit.
I mean, we
And
played in front
I
of
love the growth. I love the growth.
we played it like it's just growing, right?
Yeah.
It's growing.
And I love the fact that it's growing, and these kids have the opportunity because they have, again, I'm not, they have the means on the phone to be able to do research. Immediately you can pull something up and get into this band. Um,
I was
and it's
just, I'm sorry to cut you off. I
no,
was just in
you're good.
Las Vegas, right?
With my
And
homie
sick,
Brian. That's my
yeah.
brother.
Oh, Robin Shrine, I love you, buddy. I hope you're watching this. We got to hang out a little bit. It was awesome to see him.
I
Um,
seen that picture. Yeah.
but Sick New World was going on while I was there, which is their big metal festival there. And everyone from Knock Loose to Korn to System of a Down, a bunch of death metal and underground bands played. And it's just awesome because I didn't get to go just because I was doing vacationy stuff with my wife. But um I could have because I had plenty of connections to go hang out. But it was cool to see that everywhere I went, whether it's the casino or getting dinner somewhere or just walking down the strip, I saw metalheads everywhere. Even in the airport coming back. And that's just so awesome because we're not that little thing anymore, that dirty secret of music. We're
Yeah.
that shit. We're not going to
The
get that
weirdo.
Grammy shit and we're not going to
Right.
get that kind of recognition from the mainstream. But we're not low on the totem pole either anymore. Bands are where it's at. And I love that shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
understand that because, like, I want to say two, maybe a year ago. Do you know the band Aborted?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, so there was a thing. I work at Walmart for a 9 to 5 job,
Hmm?
and I showed my boss a picture of another Walmart associate in Chicago wearing a band shirt, and I was like this. You don't let me unzip my vest ever because of the band shirt I'm wearing. I say that's bullshit because he's doing it just fine, and it's literally a dude hanging on a cross, and it's the Iarta's Murders Chemical Christ shirt, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's bullshit. Why can't I do that? And she's like, this. Do you think it really will go viral? I said, metalheads are the new thing. I was like, watch. I promise you, I will go as far as I can take you and take you to the promised land. And she was like, okay, we'll do it. And I was wearing my border shirt. I unzipped my vest, sat on a pile of dirt, and I literally made her status go from usually 30 to 40 likes to 782 likes, multiple shares, multiple comments. I told her metalheads are something people are ashamed of for a while. Now we were the bastard childs. No
Yeah.
one loved us, respected us, and now we're like in the spotlight. Like you wear a band T-shirt. Like shout out to my little brother Aiden. He's only 17. This kid loves music so much. He's been on stage multiple times doing vocals. I'm so proud of him. And the
Yeah,
younger
brother. Hell yeah.
generation's getting better
Hell
at
yeah.
it. And like
There are two
it's getting
there are two
insane.
sides of that. And I when I talk to people and from some legendary bands, and then you have I'm not going to mention any names. You have people that are unhappy because it's getting so popular, and then you have people like me. I'm cool with it. I'm like, hey, listen, let it go up. Things come in anything in life is going to come in a wave, right? Things are going to go up. Like obviously we're not wearing bell bottoms, anymore. So things go up and then they go down. So I think that to your point, Phil, extreme music's on the rise, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy to see Immolation from Yonkers, New York, doing these world tours with big bands. I fucking love
Yeah,
Immolation. You know what I mean? I'm happy to
exactly.
see Suffocation get what they deserve. I'm happy to see that.
Like a
I'm
good
happy,
You have to want to grow and progress. Like that was Irate's mission statement. We didn't, yeah, it was cool to be the local band and it was cool to have the props here in the tri-state and all that. But you wanted to also see the world. You wanted to share your music with everyone, and have it grow and have your fans grow with you. As long as you're writing things that come from here, shouldn't make a difference.
that's all, bro. That's the way oh my God, when it's real, you can feel it, right? You
Yeah.
know it's real. And it just doesn't matter.
It's
When it's
okay to
genuine,
progress
people
your
don't
sound.
appreciate it. Yes.
People hate when people progress the sound, but it's like, why are you going to
Why?
do the same thing 10 times?
I'm me and you think a lot alike,
You know,
man.
like no.
Yeah,
And as you listen to the Irate stuff, there was plenty of growth
I
in
know.
those three
I know.
releases.
I wanted you to fucking write Bronx Unity all over, and every on every record because that was the perfect hip hop, death metal, hardcore leads solo. It hit it checked every bullet point for me, right? If I had to do a report, metal, hip hop, death metal, slam, lead, solo, talent, double bass.
Well, here's the
The
thing
Bronx
though.
Unity.
Like in New York metal, you didn't get Bronx Unity, but because we had an issue with Irate California, right?
Wait,
Um,
wait. What's going on with Irate California? I don't know anything about that.
so do
There's a
you
band.
know the song? Do you know the song Vendetta?
Yes.
Vendetta is our biggest song ever,
Mhm.
successfully, numbers wise, all that, right? Millions of hits all across all the streaming
Ah,
platforms, YouTube. Now, there's a reason for that. The reason for that is because at the time we were not in a court thing. It didn't get to the courts, but it was on its way to litigation where we had a beef with a band from Torrance, California, who called themselves Irate. Now, they used it as an acronym. It stood for Infinite Rebellion Against the Establishment. But one day, we get a phone call from their manager, and he starts saying, "We were out before you. You guys need to stop using the name, and we're going to go to court with this if you don't do that." And we were like, "Well, first of all, we never heard of you. And if you ask around, even in California, they're going to tell you that they've heard of us."
of course.
Okay. So, first of all, shut the fuck up. All right. Prove to us that you've been around long. And he couldn't. It was just his word against ours, right? Um, their name stood for Infinite Rebellion Against the Establishment, but they were looking for sponsorships everywhere. So they were already a hypocrite to themselves. And they were a new metal band who were awful at new metal. And it was so cookie cutter crap versus what we were doing. Our
Again,
fan
I've never heard of
bases, our fan bases got into beef at the time, and our fan base destroyed theirs. And it got really to the point where they threatened us with police because our fans were like, "Listen, if you ever step foot in the in the East Coast, you're cooked. You will get the beating of your lives." You understand? Never come here, and they never did.
No.
And it went on for a few years. So we wrote Vendetta as a fuck you to them. And that's why it resonates with so many people because it was like the metal version of, Biggie Tupac in a way, or,
Oh, the East Coast,
East
West
Coast
Coast.
versus
Okay.
West Coast. But we didn't write it to be anti-West Coast. We
Yeah.
just wanted to bitch that band. And
Yeah.
we did. And they wrote this soft Mickey Mouse um, rebuttal to us, and we listened and we laughed because it was such a joke. We destroyed them on our track, and Vendetta still lives on. It's the most covered irate song in our catalog. I have a folder of hundreds of bands that have covered it over the years, all over the globe.
Fucking
Nobody
great.
ever talks about that band because they don't. Not only did they break up, but they never did anything. They don't have a name anywhere. As far as people know, we're the only irate. That's it. Because they had zero impact. But to get back to the Bronx Unity thing, we didn't have Bronx Unity, but we had Vendetta, which was our going back to the streets and saying, "Yo, we may be, playing crazier, more musical shit, but don't think that we can't take it back to the fucking Bronx and destroy you
And beat your. Don't
and
think that we
beat you."
can go outside and shoot the fair one. You know what I mean?
And
Don't.
I told him, I was like, "Anytime you want to come out here, let's go. I'll shoot the fair one, no problem." But they didn't want it.
I do recall, Phil, Giants jersey, Timberland boots,
Sure.
Yankee fitted. Yankee fitted.
I'm a Bronx kid, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what
No,
it
no.
is.
Through and through. And no, that's so. By the way, just Gutter said hello. He's at Biohazard Exodus
Exodus. Yep. Yep.
in
Yep.
Montclair, New Jersey. What
Yep.
lucky. I wish I was at that venue. So Gutter said hello. Jorge from Marauder told me to tell you hello. I talked to him today. Actually, before jumping on, he's FaceTiming me from Puerto Rico. Um, Dude, let's talk about the feature you did on the fucking Coma Click on the Candiria joint.
Yeah.
That's it, dude. I'm sorry I had to bring that up, man.
No,
That
actually, I was talking about that the other day with Rob and Shrine out in Las Vegas. So it's weird that you
that's
bring that
my
up.
brother, by the way.
Yeah,
Try,
me too. Me too. I
try
love
lover.
him forever, and he's family, and I'm glad that we
I
got some
listen. Did
time.
you ever hear his band No Holds Bar?
Yeah, yeah.
See? Oh, those guys.
Rob,
I'm like, dude, we got to do this.
Rob is a bad dude, bro.
I'm like, listen, that's my fucking brother. I'm like, listen, I'll fucking play guitar. Let's get this shit back together. I'm like, I would love to do this. He's like, I don't know. I'll let you know.
So he wanted to know the story, and so I'll tell you how it came about. Now, Pandiria was a band that I worshipped in high school, and I'm talking about the early death metal Candiria.
Yeah.
Okay, the Inverted Kingdom demo and the Subliminal demo, which are straight up satanic awesomeness. Right now, part of the attraction of that band was that, like Irate, they were into heavy, heavy shit. But when you looked at them, he was wearing, like the book bag and the cool hat, and he was very hip hopped out on
Well,
stage.
you lived in New York.
Yeah,
You were a New Yorker.
Carly Coma, was a
Yeah,
true Brooklyn to the
Carly.
death, right?
Yeah.
Straight up. So
Never
seeing
formally
that
met him, but
amazing
nice guy.
combination was very attractive to me, and I became a huge fan to the point where, as a 17-year-old kid, I wrote Candiria a letter. Okay,
Oh shit.
I did. I was like, I love what you guys are doing. I'm a big fan and all that. Fast forward like 6 months later, so I go see them at CB's, and I said to Carly, "Hey, I don't want to be weird, but I wrote you guys a letter." And he says, and he proceeded out of his memory to tell me what I wrote him.
No fucking shit.
Yes. And ever since that day, we've been like that.
Bro, you
And
gotta let me know that Seb from Dripping's a huge fan, man.
I will.
Holy shit.
So I
That's
hadn't seen Carly in a long
amazing.
time, but last year I got him to come visit me in my home, and we spent the day together, and it was such an amazing day of catching up and being bros again. But anyway, going back then. So Irate starts playing shows. They start to take us under their wing because of the relationship, and they believed they were fans too. They
Oh,
really loved what
who
Irate
wouldn't
was
be, man?
doing.
You guys were tight.
So
You guys played your instruments very
correct,
well.
correct. They were totally into it, and we would play shows outside of New York together and all that. So one day on a Friday, I got a call from Carly, and he says, "Are you busy tomorrow?" And I go, "No, actually, we're not playing. I'm home. I'm not doing anything." And he goes, "Okay, so how would you feel about tracking a song with us?" And
Shit. That's
my
big.
heart was like, started to
What?
beat like a million miles a minute, because it's like your superhero telling you that he wants you to come, and rock out, right? So of course I said hello. Then I made calls to Irate and some of the Billy Club guys and said, I'm nervous. I hope I don't fuck this up. And they're like, you better not, motherfucker. You better go in there tomorrow and fucking rep all of us, because this is a huge
That's
thing.
what's
Because
up.
we all love
I
that.
love that. You guys had a huge family, and that's great, man.
Yeah, big
Eating
family.
those guys, right?
Yeah. So like I had all this pressure on me. So I
Gotta
take the
represent for the
train.
fan.
Yeah, I take the train the next day, and I
Into
get to
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, yeah. It was Purple Light Studios, which they recorded a lot of their catalog in. And I go in there, and Kenny comes out, the drummer, Ken Schulk,
Amazing.
who was a major contributor to that music.
Amazing, bro.
You know, he comes out and he goes, "Well, Phil, here's a boombox, a little tiny fucking boombox." Puts it on the table. He put a cassette in there, and he's like, "This is the part. This is what the song is about lyrically. Here's a bowl, and I'll see you in 20 minutes." So you want
Really?
to talk? You want to talk about pressure, bro?
Oh yeah.
I had no time to really think about it. Because and if you know me, you understand that I am meticulous. It takes me forever to write things because I write them 7, 8 times until I think it's perfect, right?
Well, I can tell you're a neat guy from looking at your
Oh
all
yeah.
your figures
Yes.
stacked up
I am
in
OCD to
order.
the extreme.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was an amazing challenge, but a very nerve-wracking one as well. So I just went into my mind, I smoked a little bowl and just started writing. And then at the end, before I started singing, they're like, "We're gonna have Jamie Josta come in and do a part here on this song too." And I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Oh, I love it already,
But
man.
we want you to end it. We want him to set off that part. Then Carly's gonna come in the middle, and then you're gonna end it. So hook it up, bro. Like, don't let us down. And so I did, and then I recorded it, and we heard it back, and they looked at me and they were like, "Hell yeah!"
But
And when I got that hell yeah, I was like over the moon, bro.
was she there too in the studio or no?
No,
You
Jamie
her
had gone and
another
done it
day?
another day, or maybe even somewhere else, and gave it to them. I don't know,
Gotcha, gotcha. Dude,
but
dude, that is how fucking legendary is that, bro? Like, you know what I mean? You're on one of like,
insane, insane, and something I am very humbled about to this day. I'll never forget that
you
opportunity
should
that
put
they
that
gave
record. You
me.
got to have that record on your wall,
I
man.
do. It's in here. I got it signed by Carly, and it's a beautiful memento that I have. But when I heard it for the first time, like the three of us and all that, I was in Glenn Billy Club's um, place, and I brought it to his house, and we listened to it together, and he was like, "Holy shit, bro, this is crazy." And when you get the acknowledgement from your homies, you know you did something special.
So, like, you got
And
like they
and my
sent you
homies would
they
tell
sent you a
me if it
CDR or
sucked.
something. Like, how did you get it? Like,
Um,
you went home with a CDR, or they
no, no,
mailed
no.
it?
I got the finished product a few months later.
Oh, when they
Um,
came out?
and I just brought it to his place and we listened to it. Um, I didn't want to listen to it alone. So
Yeah, I got you.
I went to hang out with him and then I showed everybody else and it was something special for sure. And what's even more special is that the three of us got to do it one time live. And it was at L'Amour's.
No fucking way. Really?
Yes. Yes. It's in YouTube somewhere.
Oh, you
Um,
and Carly
Me,
together.
Jamie, and Carly. Yep. Ripping it one time together
That's
at
sick.
Brooklyn's Lemoore during a
House
Candiria, I
at
think Hatebreed
Lamore's.
at Lemoore's. And I
Fucking
think it was Hatebreed, Candiria, and E Town, if I remember correctly.
what a lineup.
Um, yeah, sick lineup. Packed, sold out show. And we did it and it was such a cool thing. Now I got to do it with them other times, but only one time with Jamie. Only one time with Jamie, and it was cool. And shout out to Jamie too because Jamie's another guy that has always been kind to me. Loved Irate and always speak. I've seen him speak fondly of Irate on interviews and things like that. So respect to him too. He doesn't need to do that. And every time I see him, it's all love. Like big hug. Like how the fuck are you? Um, it's crazy. The last tour that Candiria did was Warp Tour in 2016, I think it was. And I happened to be in Florida at the time when they came through it, and Hatebreed was also on there. Now we didn't get to do the song, but I got to hang out with everybody, and um, and Jamie gave a lot of love to my son, which I appreciate. And it's all love, man. Like the friendships that I forged 30 years ago remain. You
Dude,
know?
that's insane because there's such a weird connection. So one day I'm outside of the pipeline and I'm like, get me in. I'm like, Rick, I don't have any money, but I want to come chill at the show. I'll put you on Hatebreed's guest list. You know what I mean? So Hatebreed comes in a van from Connecticut, very cold day in December, ice, snow. I don't even know. Under the knife era, kind of maybe. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, maybe I grabbed a piece of their equipment or a box of their CDs, and now I'm walking in the pipeline for free. But then I moved to Connecticut for a long time, and my next door neighbor was a huge Hatebreed fan. And then it's funny how everything's full circle. When Marauder played Orlando, I went up to chill, and we were a guest of Marauder, and we were backstage, and I got to watch Hatebreed and Marauder destroy
Oh yeah.
FYA from the stage, dude. And I'm like, just being because I'm a fan, you know what I mean? First and foremost,
So am
I'm a fan.
I. So am I, bro.
So
So
just
am
to
I.
be able to see like
I just
Marauder,
get to call them
it
my
was
friends, but
sentimental for me,
yeah.
man. And Hatebreed, it just brought me back to, yeah. I mean, I wasn't at your recording session, but it was the same era, like the
Yeah.
the Coney Island High, the wetlands, the
Wetlands. Yeah.
pipeline,
Movies.
fucking like I said, Screwy Louie's when
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
Mindset was Sworn Enemy was called
Yeah.
Mindset.
Yeah.
Remember that? Like this is
Horse.
the days
Horse.
that I'm talking about, and
Yeah.
when I run into people and we can talk about that, damn, it brings, and like you said, it's 30 fucking years ago, man.
30 fucking years.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, I got one more cool story about Hatebreed Candy. So in 97, Jamie would trade shows with us every once in a while. Like we'd go to Connecticut. And one day there was a small club called the Blackthorn in the Bronx. Now there was a later version in Queens, but the first version of the Blackthorn was in the Bronx. It was a few neighborhoods away from where I lived. And Irate played some shows there with a lot of Bronx bands like Billy Club, Go to Mentis, Driven by Hatred, all the OG, Bronx bands. This, Fahrenheit, all those guys played in there. And so I hit Jamie up. I said, listen, would you like to play in the Bronx with Candiria and Irate? And he said, yeah, sure, come down. And, I had not much of a budget to go with, but we were all
Right.
relatively still growing. So no one was asking for the huge guarantees yet and whatever.
Right, with those days.
But he came and they played. So imagine Hatebreed, Candiria, and Irate now. What room that would fill.
I mean, it'd be you would have to play FYA in Orlando.
It would be
It would have
something
to
huge.
be, because like anything they do in Orlando, like Universal, FYA is huge. And I got to give it up to Orlando because they do those humongous
Yeah, they're
festivals.
doing their thing, Hell yeah.
I was just at the park and I'm not really in my wife loves Universal. And I love the movie stuff, but I could do once, but the FYA, anything you do in Orlando, EDC, Universal Studios, FYA. But
Orlando, I mean, the Florida scene has come up. Shows there
if my
were
rate ever gets back together, you guys are playing. Those guys from FYA are probably
Oh no, they've asked.
You know what I'm saying?
Everyone has asked.
And that's I know everyone's coaching.
That's another thing I want to mention is that every year I get calls from everyone. When festival season happens, so many of some amazing promoters and people that I hold dear, like the Black and Blue guys, Cuss Joe always hit me up. Once even Freddie Madball has politely asked. And then, Joe Hardcore for This Is Hardcore, Chris Mahmood from Tsunami, and then all the European and Japanese festivals, they all call me. And it sucks to say no, but it's also very humbling that they still care to ask,
Hell yeah.
And they always leave it open. They're like, whenever you're ready, let us know.
Yeah,
we will welcome Irate with open arms. And I think I
think everyone's waiting for that reunion. That's like the second coming of Christ, man.
I know.
Everyone's waiting for that. Hey, so Phil, what are you so I never What were you influenced by vocally?
So vocally, and you're not ever going to
Or
hear the side,
were you just
although,
like not a vocal? You were just like, look, I got to just step it up and sing because, or were you just actually trained? Because if I sing for a band, then I won't be able to talk after the first song. I'll be like, "Ah." So
well,
I don't know how to sing.
it's
I'm
gotten
not,
back to
that's not
that.
like any.
So, it's repetition, it's constantly practicing, but when I first came up, I had the Max Cavalera, Juan Brujo, all Rob Flynn,
Listen,
James Hetfield,
I hear Pantera.
yeah, Phil, not gonna lie,
Okay,
Phil's up there as well. So many heavier voices in my head, Glenn Benton, all of that. And I just wanted my main goal and Irate's main goal, and they pushed this shit out of me in this regard, is to have the heaviest voice possible, but have it be as clear as possible.
copy,
And
got
we
it.
push that narrative, and it's something I still push with whatever I do. And my voice has come a long way from the Irate days. I do shit now that I couldn't even imagine doing back then.
Well,
But it's because of that constant repetition and wanting to grow and wanting to push your vocal cords. Now at 50 years old, it's a bit more difficult to push it out of your system at a high level. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially when you're not playing consistently and all that. It's really hard, but I still like if I'm on a record, I will push myself to the limits to get the best out of myself. I don't do as much features anymore in collaboration unless I promised it to someone before, or unless it's a band that I love so much that I know that I would regret it in the future. And
right.
part of that is because of wear and tear, and and just wanting to preserve what I do have left to
What you're doing,
whenever my future whenever Knights of the Black starts to do this thing or whatever, I'm at a top level and I'm not losing it. And it's something, some bands don't understand that. They'll take it as an insult when you say, "I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to
right?
pass." And I don't mean that to be the case.
Oh, sometimes
But
you can't do it all. You can't,
I just can't. And so many bands ask me.
right.
That's another thing to pick and choose, and so I kind of
Well,
avoid
everybody would
it.
love to have you, man. I mean, you're
I know,
definitely
and
a
I would
fucking
love to be able to do it for everybody, but there's only so much time and gas left, and so with Fury of Five, that's something that I talked about with Stickman 10 years ago,
yeah. I love Fury of Five.
and they finally came calling with that. Hey, remember, we talked about this 10 years ago, and I said,
Favor for
okay,
a favor. Those are my homies, man.
what I am is a man of my word. And if I told you something 10 years ago, it doesn't matter that it was 10 years ago. I'm going to come through for you.
That's great, man.
And so we did that. And A Cold Day in Hell is the name of that song. And it's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I love that shit. Came out really good. We shot a video for it. That was a great experience. And the Fury of Five guys and I go back 30 years. So it was cool to do that. I recently did something like 2 weeks ago for Escuela Grind. And Escuela Grind, I'm a huge fan. I am just into the band very, very much. And I met them last year. But we've been in contact for all this time. And we talked about it. I didn't think they would actually call me. But they did. And so I was kind of pleasantly surprised. And I kind of said, okay, well, this is a band you really truly believe in. Not that I don't believe in other bands. I don't want to get into that rabbit hole. But
They're really good.
like,
I like those kids.
but I really there's just some about them that I love.
Yeah, no,
So I'm like, I think our
they're
worlds
doing
could
it.
mix. And so I went and did it. And so that when that comes out, I'm gonna be very proud of it.
Yeah, I got it.
And
So now I'm
they love
definitely
it. They have been in regular contact with me since, talking about how much they love what I did for them. So I'm very, very happy about that. But I'm getting older, and this isn't easy, especially the way that I want to do it.
Right.
I want to go full throttle when I do these things, and so I just want it to be special. I really do for me, and my son gets bombarded all the time. Can you ask your dad?
Yeah, of course.
So he's
I
always
feel that
coming to me.
it makes it more, it's just who you are, and it's cool that you're just not like, because sometimes there's some people who overdo it and
Yeah, I'm
they're
not
great.
going to oversaturate myself,
Right, but
play myself
you're like,
out,
listen, I did what I did. You can hear me. I want, and like, but just because I told you no, it doesn't mean that we can't be cool. Like,
and
it's
that I
just
won't follow you, and that I won't
right. Yeah,
believe in what
yeah.
you're
No,
doing,
it's
and
completely
come out and
understood.
hang out. Yeah.
Listen, when I watched what you sent me today. I'm like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, don't send me shit like that anymore because I want to quit playing fucking music. Okay, I'm like, why? God damn it, this is so fucking good. Okay.
Thank you
That
for
is
that.
really fucking good. I'm showing. I'm like, because I don't read Facebook Messenger too
Yeah.
much, and I happen to have Jay's number. I'm gonna tell your father we're on for the podcast because I'm busy working, doing 1,000 things. And then I look at my messenger and I'm like, oh my God. I'm just like, I bring the phone over to my wife. I'm like, dude, oh my God. I'm like, okay, I don't even know if I even have a career in music anymore. This is some next level shit. And I don't know if you're okay with maybe talking a little bit about
Oh
what you're
yeah,
doing now.
absolutely. That's why I showed you the video. So I gave Sebastian a sneak peek at the band Knights of the Black. Now, Knights of the Black, in theory, has existed for 5+ years. However, due to the fact that we can't get a drummer for some reason,
Is Mike
uh,
from Future playing drums on that video?
no, no,
Looks just like
he
him.
he just
Mike the drummer.
so Mike Furia 5 did us the favor of shooting the video because we had no
So
one.
Mike was on that video.
Yeah, he was on the video.
I love it. I love Mike. Mike's the
So I
homie.
begged him. I needed
Mike,
someone
but
to
you
sit
needed
behind.
somebody in there to play
Yeah, I
right,
needed someone to sit on the kit.
to sit on the
And I
kit.
said, listen, I don't know if you have the time, but I would really appreciate it if you could help us out.
Mike's a
And we
great.
shot it in Philly, which is not far from where he lives.
Yeah.
So he said yes. And to his credit, he listened to the song a bunch of times and he came prepared. And he did a
Great
phenomenal
drummer.
job on the video. So Knights of the Black released a single in 21, and it was well received. But since then, a lot of life things got in the way. The pandemic kind of held us back a bit, and then my son's mom got sick with cancer, and so did my bass player's father. He eventually lost his father to cancer, and thank goodness that my son's mother is still fighting the good fight. But life gets in the way, man. Shit happens that you have to kind of redirect focus and everything. And it took us for a long time to finish part one of what will be two EP. So it's finally done. It just needs to get mastered. And so we shot our first video for it. And that's going to come out sooner than later. I'm not going to say dates anymore because life has a funny way of fucking shit up.
Right.
So, but I will say that Knights of the Black, if you loved Irate, this is next level shit.
I
This is
mean,
pure tech, death, in
Little
your
Black
face.
is really talented. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the best of the best for me. I mean, I don't want to give it away without you, but I hear suffocation. I hear it's irate. It's not so much more about the aggression of the street, but it's more of the aggression of the talent. There's a lot of talent. I hear talent.
Well,
First thing that comes is first thing is talent.
you got Nando
And it's
Redrum
very
and
talented.
my son playing guitar. So teacher and student. Then you
Listen,
got my buddy Tom Talata, who played in the Judas Syndrome with me, but he was the drummer. Now he's the bass player.
do you
Another
have
musical
a
guy,
for Knights of the Black?
another talent involved there with Tom. He is a fucking music guy through and through, can play multiple instruments, um, different styles and all that. So he was a perfect bass player for this situation. You got me on vocal, and we hope to get a top tier. Now, for the record, we hired this guy, Chasen. Um, God, I forget his last name now.
That was my question. If you had a full-time
His
drummer.
name was Chasen. It's a W last name. I'm gonna feel really bad later for forgetting. But he was in bands like Hate Eternal and so many other different death metal and tech bands
Yeah.
over the years that we hired him as a session guy. So he came in and added his level of ridiculousness to an already ridiculous pot. And so Knights of the Black is a coming together of some really talented people. And I'm going to take myself out of that. I'm talking about the band who play at an elite level. So you're going to get everything from super tech to the breakdowns to the ferocity, emotion. You know, a
I think
lot
it's
of this
perfect.
record was inspired by my love of horror films. So when we debuted our first single back in 21, that was my nod to Michael Myers, Horror of Haddonfield. That was received well. The video that we shot last year that'll come out this year was inspired by the Death Wish films of the 80s. I call it Vigilante. And we've got a few other really awesome fucking tracks. And the story of Knights of the Black is that they're the final resolution. They're not God, they're not Satan, but they have the power over them. You know, it's kind of like a Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, but on
Mhm.
steroids. You know, and they can come and destroy your world, or they can come and aid in the fight. Like
Well, this
it's
project,
whatever they
if this
want to
project
do.
comes together, if this project comes to fruition to a full-time lineup where everybody's in the same room, and you guys would fucking, I mean, it's elite. It's
I
elite.
agree.
I'm a fan, man. It's
I
fucking great.
agree. I'm very proud of this band. Now,
You
yes,
should.
I was in Irate, and we did some great things, but musically, this is the best shit I ever did in my
That's
career.
where you want to graduate to. That's
Yeah,
like I
this
I
was
listen.
this is
Yep.
PhD shit. You know,
This is your
and
pierce from within, you know? This is your
it
masterpiece.
really
You need like a Derek Roddy on drums for
it's
this.
not a competition, but I'd be hard pressed, you know, to find something that's fucking with it right now. You know, I'm gonna put it on a pedestal, and I know that's a little bit, I don't want to say arrogant, but I'm positive that this will stand up with anything that's out there today, and kick ass. I'll go to my grave with that.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, that's how
it
proud I
holds its
am.
value. It holds its value for sure.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really talented. I love it. I'm like, I can't wait to hear more of this stuff. And I wanna you don't play an instrument, but you actually do. Your voice is your instrument.
And I
You
did
know,
all the
at
vocals on there. Everything you hear
high
on there,
lows,
all
yeah.
the levels. And
All
that's why
the
I'm so proud of it.
yeah, dude, there's a lot going on. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's not like a lot going on and it doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. And there's just, again, it's just a meltdown of aggression, talent. It's fucking brutal. You know what I mean? It hits all the checkpoints, man.
And let me tell you, like at first, I was scared to death
Why?
because my son and Nando wrote music that I'm like, how the fuck do I write anything to this?
Oh, right, right.
It's so complex.
Yeah, that's kind
You
of
know, and I took that as a huge challenge. And so I sat here, man, for oh my God, months and months and months and months and months, trying to match what they're doing. And
humbling.
thank goodness, yeah, very humbling that when we recorded things and they would hear it, they were like, yes, this is what the
Wait,
fuck is
so
going on.
are they is Jay like a stickler? Like, come on, Dad.
No, not as much as like
Come on,
Nando.
Dad, cut those vocals again. You fucked up.
I do that to myself. Like
I
I'll
bet.
sit there and excuse me, if I don't like a line, I'll be there all fucking day until I feel it's good. You know, and they'll be like, yo, what are you talking about? This was good 20 takes ago. And I'm like, no, that's not, no, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna sit here until it comes out the way I want it to. I'm that level of paranoid and all that shit. But
Great.
Nando and Tom are great about getting in my ear, making me sound the way I need to sound. Jay will agree or he'll put his input in there, but he's not like Nando. I just trust so much because my whole life with him. So I trust that he's getting the best out of me when we're in a studio. And for Irate, it used to be Nick Irate. Nick Irate was the voice in my mind saying, "Hey, motherfucker, do that again. Clearer, better, harder." And to his credit, and I want to talk about Nick's role in Irate really quickly. I know we're switching all over the place, but
Yeah, no, it's fine, dude.
while he's in my mind, Irate was Nick Irate's vision. It was his band. He was
Oh,
the
okay.
first member of the band, and then UV on drums. They were the ones that started this whole thing. And he was the principal songwriter. Nando wrote songs too, like he wrote Transcendence, and him and I wrote CPR and a bunch of shit. But like Nick was the main songwriter in Irate. And then Nando would just add these amazing, beautiful leads, harmonies, and all the beautiful stuff that was in Irate. That was Nando's primary role, but he also wrote lyrics and he wrote songs. But Nick Irate was the heart and soul. He was the captain of the team. So I give Nick all the respect in the world because I'm not here without him. He made Phil Vazquez who
Big,
he
yeah,
is.
big ups to Nick, man. Fuck
Nick Irate is a fucking
mind, the brains to,
just a songwriting machine.
yeah.
And he wrote some amazing things over the years. And I don't want to leave this interview today without giving credit to him, without giving credit to UV Rays on the drums, who they were the perfect match. They were James and Lars.
Gigi
That's
loved
James and
Yubi.
Lars.
Gigi loved Yubi, dude.
A lot of people love him. He
You
was
remember
such
Gigi,
an
right?
influential. Yeah, of course. But Gigi's my own girl.
Yeah, dude.
Forever.
She played drums, and I remember she would always talk about Yubi, dude. And like, it was maybe it just we need another podcast. We got 1 year Super Bowl Sunday. I'm fucking we we're like in Brooklyn. We're lost in Brooklyn on the streets. We're all sleeping on the streets, just talking about fucking. She kept talking about Irate, like we're all hanging out, just chilling, kicking
And
it.
she is a dear friend and a badass in
Huge.
her own right as a drummer. But yeah, she definitely looked up to UV in the early days, and a lot of people do. Like he doesn't get the credit he deserves as being an iconic drummer in my eyes. Like that sound he had, um, he was so hip hop, he was so metal, he was so like jazzy, like all these
Mhm.
different things in his style that he put into Irate, and like he really was the backbone of the beats of the rhythms and all that shit that
And
that made
super
us
clean.
what we were, super clean. He was very spontaneous too, you know and I think that's what drummers like about him, and certainly what I like about him.
Does
So
he
those
play
two.
anymore?
Yeah,
He
he'll
play
play.
anymore?
He's got his drum set up in his place, and he'll rock out, and he'll jam with people and all that. So he still got his chops up. Um, and
Great
I'm
drummer.
glad because he should never stop playing. Um, and I just want to give those guys their flowers. Now, as far as bass and Irate, we had two bass players throughout our time. But originally, we had no bass players. We started playing shows without bass for like a year.
Mhm.
We did it Candiria style because when Candiria first started, they didn't have a bass player either.
I remember that.
Um, but then our first bass player was a kid named Jason Robles, aka Jay Rate, and he did the Burden era of the band. Um, and then sadly that didn't work out because as he was very hardcore oriented, um, and he wasn't very much into the metal stuff. So as we progress, it
He
just
just wasn't
became a
for
little much to him, and it didn't mesh anymore. So we kind of moved on from him, but he's a dear friend forever. And then, about a year or so later, we got Kurt Reese, who is Nick's brother. So Nick and Kurt Reese uh, were a great situation for us because they, as brothers, they just got each other musically and
And played at
everything.
home, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it was wonderful to have Kurt on board for the remainder of the band. And, shout out to him as well. And I think that the five of us were the true Irate, like we spent the most years together with Kurt on bass. And so um, it was such great times to tour together and have so much fun, fight with each other, laugh with each other, all the things that bands go through.
Yeah.
And write, and most importantly, write memorable things that people still talk about today.
You guys wrote some music that's timeless, right? So, it's just you captured, you took a picture of an era. I was very blessed. I'm blessed in one way and cursed in the other because my blessing, not it makes me fucking old that I was able to witness it. You know what I mean? But
Me
I was
too.
blessed to be there
Yeah.
in person. The curse is that I'm fucking old. I would trade
Listen,
spots with these
I think
young kids.
that old is
But
the wrong word. I think refined is better, mature.
yeah,
And it's good to be here because that means we've gone through it. We've grown from it. We've experienced things. We're not gonna um, you know, we're not gonna hide from what got us here, you know?
absolutely, man.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, do the bones hurt? Absolutely. Am I slower? Absolutely. And am I, is the energy the same? No. How could it be? It's 30 years ago. But the heart is still there. And
Yeah.
as long as the heart beats and you give it your all, you're good, bro.
It's like I was just going through this. I had a really tough couple of months and I got to get ready to play Death Fest. And I'm telling my wife, I'm like, fuck, I'm just like not mentally there. And I'm like, how do these kids do it? Like, how do you work? How do you have like a life and then just go play, and I just plug in, I just plug my guitar and I just fucking just get through that wall. And like once I break through that wall and it starts coming back, but like sometimes it's like a lot of people could devote people do music full time. And I fucking God bless you. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's a tough life.
I'm not saying I'm not gifted. I was like, I'm not fortunate enough to be doing music full time. Unfortunately, I have a job and I have other things. And yeah, and like you said, it hurts. Sometimes the bones hurt, but we still push through and push through those walls. And to hear, dude, that don't ever send me shit like that again because I'm gonna quit playing music. Man, to wrap it up, I know we probably need a part two. I think
I'm
that
down for that, or
we
we
need
can
to
keep
have
going as
Nando,
long as you
man.
guys want.
Dude, we gotta have not. I think we should do a fit for all topics. I think we should do a blue, a Phil's, and a Nando sit down. And I want to do four different corners of the world. I want to bring like some rare people. Like I want to have Alex Marquez, Derek Roddy from Hate Eternal Level and Creation, and then bring you and I just want to just bring some people that never met and just bring them because bridge the gap because I think you guys are great minds that should have met especially when you mentioned the guy you hired was in Hate Eternal,
Yeah.
Hate Eternal is a fucking one of the greatest fucking death metal bands of all times. Eric Rutan's one of the and to me, my favorite death metal band is Ripping Corpse, and Eric Rutan was in Ripping Corpse, which is my
Yeah.
favorite death metal bands. But Bill, dude, it was an absolute pleasure. I can sit here for 5 hours with you,
Me
man,
too.
because
Yeah, I love talking.
I have so much. Listen, I'm a nerd. I had fucking my questions ready to go, but again, I know we've been around the same circles, so
Yeah. Now, Jacob, any questions for me, like horror wise or whatever you want to get in there before we go? Because I know that at the beginning of this, you mentioned you might have some.
Oh, I
I
got
just
some.
want to give you, I just want to give you your platform before I go.
So my question is for you, like besides hardcore, have you ever heard of the band The Acacia Strain?
Of course, yeah. My second band, Judas Syndrome, played a few shows with them,
You
and
remind
I
me.
was a fan
You remind me of Vincent so much.
with the glasses and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not that like the way you talk about music because like Vincent has a special place in my heart for some odd
Yeah.
reason. Like growing up,
Cool dude, cool dude. Yeah.
lost my dad when I was 19.
Sorry, brother.
Found that band, the Acacia Strain, and let's be real. In the beginning, and he even admits it, he was a negative guy.
Youth,
And
you know how youth is, man.
I was very hateful at that time because like why would someone take my dad away when I'm 19, only known my dad for 3.5 years?
Right?
And then like I got used to them, and then like
Very sorry for that, Jacob. I'm really sorry for that,
Yeah,
man.
me too, man.
and like I remember finding him, and like what everything you were saying was this like triggering like everything I've heard from Vincent. Like that man changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
And like I'm friends with him on Discord. We'll talk every so often. He's a very busy guy. So when you bring up a school of grind, this reminds me also Vincent was on a track for them,
Yeah, he was. That's right.
and he
And
brings
and his
them.
part was awesome. Yeah, I remember that.
Then like he brings them all. Like that's one thing I feel like if you came back, with Irate, you would do the same thing he's doing. You would take these younger bands out that
Of
needs
course.
exposure.
Yeah.
And like I tell a lot of people, and it's like it hits me right in the heart because like I tell a lot of people, don't forget where you come from.
Absolutely.
And like I'm moving to Jersey in two, maybe a year. I've told people at like my hometown venues, you only get me for a year, but I won't forget who you are.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna make it big and all that," and I'm just like this. No, it's just called a new chapter in my life,
That's it. Life is chapters. 100%.
and I'm very thankful for Seb. I
And
really
thank
am.
you, buddy.
I never thought like I would be sitting here with the vocal, you, Phil.
Thank
Like, that's why I have like the other day like I had to make a status and tell people when you have a dream, chase it because you never know.
you. Never.
And we got to remember, and thank you for saying that, Jacob. We got to remember how lucky we are today, man. The three of us could sit here and do this, you know what I mean? And just talk about it all the time. This is awesome, you know. This is a bonus. This is a blessing. You know, we're blessed that we're able to sit here and talk. We lost a lot of people along the way.
We
A lot
have.
of
And to that end, shout out to little Greg, shout out to Paulie
people.
Nonek, and all the people that we've lost over the years. Um, they were part of my story.
I never forget
So I'll
meetings
never
with
forget them.
Screwy Louie's
Yeah.
irate show. Screwy Louie's.
Yeah.
That was the name of the place in Kearney, New
100%.
Jersey. Small room, fucking black. I mean, it was the size of my office. You know?
Shout out my boy Mark Catalina, who helped with the artwork of Burden of Crumbling Society. I lost him a few years ago now. Um, there's so many people that I can list.
Yeah.
I want to end on a positive.
Oh yeah, big
So
time. Like
the
straight up,
people
like
we lost, we love you and we never forget you. To anyone chasing the dream, just remember, stay humble. You're not better than anybody, and no one's better than you.
And we're all friends. You
We
know?
all should be friends, but there have
Yeah.
been times in my life where I knew someone in the beginning and then they were a little different later on. It happens. But for the
Yeah.
most part, that's not my story. That's a very limited example. But I always try to tell the kids of today, just stay humble. Be everyone's friend. Be grateful that you have a platform to share your art with. Um, I'm lucky to still be friends with the forefathers of Castle Heights, which is Billy Club, Mindset, Sworn Enemy, and everybody gets hurt.
Oh, I wanted
Your
to talk about
friends,
everybody get hurt. You know,
talk
fucking
about it. Like I'm
Rob,
still
dude.
here, and you still got
You
me.
know,
Like
and you know, it
I
was
just
so
saw
funny
Rob
that,
the other day. Like Rob and
dude,
I love him very much.
Chris, it
And
was like Chris, I get in a car with the stranger, we're smoking a joint. He starts playing a cassette tape in New York City, and I'm like, outburst. And he's like, how the fuck did you know that? I'm like, I don't know. I listen to hardcore. Chris B. That's my first time I met him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, man.
It's
And that was a
life,
band, a
man.
legendary band in its own right, of course.
And
They
he's
get
a great artist.
together.
I used to love the stuff that he would
His
draw.
art, Chris B's art is legendary, and he's
Yeah,
still doing it.
a lot of heart. Those guys.
A lot of flyers that he drew for even Irate and whatnot, or shows we were doing with them at the time.
Dude, Rob, he's
Yeah,
a great front man, dude.
one of the
Rob,
best.
great front man, dude.
One of the
So much
best.
fucking energy, so much fucking heart, man.
Still
I
to
love
this
those
day,
days.
like he's in it to win it at all times.
That's
Um,
great.
and there was always friendly competition between our bands whenever we played together. They're like, who's gonna take whose lunch money? And then brag about it later on. And we would do exactly that. But it was rooted in family and in just ribbing each other. It wasn't like, oh, we're better than them or they're better. It was none of that. It was just like, you know, competition is good for the soul, and you do want to be the band of the night whenever you play. And if you don't have that attitude, stay your ass home,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
come
that's
on,
the
crush it.
that's you want to crush it every night, and that's Irate's attitude, and it was their attitude, whether it be Billy Club, Sworn Enemy, or EGH, and we brought the best out of each other, and we all got to tour one. We did one little tour to Puerto Rico together as a family, and the debauchery, the chaos,
Oh
that
man,
was that was four
we might
days
need a
of
podcast just to talk about that tour. You know what I'm
some of the
saying?
stuff I can't talk about
No,
even now.
your wife might be like,
But
get the fuck out.
yeah, but that was the family tour, and because
That's
after a while,
great.
venues wouldn't book the four of us anymore, or even the two of us together, because they knew, we're not doing that. But we got that chance to do it in Puerto Rico, and it was one of the greatest times of our lives. I mean, how much fun the brother bands, man. That we
You guys were our family. You guys were
yeah,
our family. Sworn enemy, Irate.
yeah,
Everybody gets hurt.
Billy
Billy
Club.
Club Sandwich.
Yeah.
You guys. You held each other too. You so to speak. And you embrace the Jersey bands as well. Because
Yeah.
New York always had it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm from Jersey, but I always lived so close to
When it comes
Manhattan.
to Jersey, you had Redline, you had
Red line, correct.
you had Reek and the Boys, you had like
NJ Bloodline.
and Jay Bloodline, man, of course.
Reek was my brother.
Fury, and of course my brothers in E-Town. E-Town and us love each other, man. Like every
I
time they
love.
come around, I try to make it out. Teddy lives in around this neighborhood somewhere, and we run into each other every once in a while.
Where
Um,
are you? You not in the Bronx any longer?
no, so fun. When I got married, I decided to leave New York. It was a pandemic, and the place that I work for went remote, so it afforded me the chance to not take the train anymore into the city and go somewhere else. And so I'm just over the bridge though. Like I'm in Park Ridge, New Jersey.
It's a nice
And
neighborhood.
yeah, yeah,
Wow, you're
it's a
doing
nice
well,
area.
man. Good for
Yeah.
you. Park Ridge is
Like
nice.
I said, not only did I want to excel in music, but I wanted to excel in life. Like, so you just
Yeah.
push yourself. My wife and I work very hard. And so, we got a good thing going here in Park Ridge. Very close to New York. I'm only a
Yeah.
mile away from Pearl River, and the Rockland area. So, um,
Cluster, right? The
and my
whole
mother's in the Bronx still, so I got to be close to her and whatever she needs.
wait, is that Rockland? Is that no, that's not Rockland
Yeah,
County, right?
Rockland
Yeah,
County,
it's Rockland County. Yeah,
right
Pearl
next
River's
door.
Rockland County. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm really close to New York, but far enough away where I can enjoy some
Good
quiet.
for you, man. I know
You
Park
know,
Ridge.
yeah,
That's a good neighborhood.
yeah, it's Bergen County, man. So, a little pricey, but we work hard and we want. This is where I am
You
in
live
life,
where your
man.
soul feels free, right?
Yeah, yeah. I can. It's very nice out here, and it's always what I dreamt of, and here we are. To be in a better place and better environment, and happy, and I'm all of those things. But I don't forget where I come from, and I'm too hood for this area. Like people look at me like, look at this fucking guy. But
There's no
um,
shootouts in Park Ridge, right? You know.
you know, but it's all good. You know, like I don't care.
Oh yeah, like definitely when I come out to Jersey, we definitely have to meet up for lunch or
Oh,
something.
for sure, brother. Sebastian will tell you I'm one of those
Are
dudes.
you in town May 17th, Phil? New Jersey Death Fest.
I don't know actually.
If
I got
you
to.
are, let me know. Gutter's doing the Death Fest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then you don't obviously if he's doing the Death Fest, you don't need to be on our guest list, but you're always welcome when
Gutter.
you're in town.
Yeah,
You're always welcome to what we're
yeah. If
doing.
I can make it, I'll be there, my brother, for sure. You know, I just don't. You know, I'm still in Las Vegas, kind of. I just got back like a day, so
I got to
I
get
have to
back to
look at the
Vegas.
calendar. Oh, Vegas is the
I
best. Oh,
and when I go to Vegas, I'm a problem. So I probably a story for another podcast. I went to get married in Vegas, and I'm still with my wife, but I wind up not getting married. Long story. I went out and I did Vegas.
I
And I couldn't
understand.
get married.
Having gone there, I get it.
Yeah, I
But I
did
would
Vegas.
say this. It was my actually this is the first time I went to Vegas. And all my travels, I'd never been to
I
Vegas.
love Vegas.
So I love it. I got to go to the Sphere with my wife because she wanted to see
Me
Wizard of
too. I've
Oz,
eaten dinner there.
which is her favorite movie of all time. And I'll tell you, the Sphere experience is unbeatable.
Hell yeah.
It just is. Like I was never I liked the movie. It's good, but now I love the movie because I was in that world. You're in the world. And so I loved every detail about it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I had a
And
fucking steak
I'll
there.
probably do it again. I'll probably do it
Watching the
again.
roller coaster. There's a roller coaster on that. Did you see that? Come off the
Yeah.
screen.
It's ridiculous.
It's nuts.
So the Sphere is something I would recommend to everybody, and I can't wait to see Metallica there in October. And that's going to be something special too. Uh, so if I guess if we're gonna end, I'm just gonna say, kids, stay humble. Thank you to all my friends and family that have made this journey so incredible. Um, the future is now, though. There's a lot of great bands. Support them, check them out, be part of their story, so that I can watch them years from now talk like I'm talking now. And to you both, I wish you continued success on this podcast. I'll be happy to come back and talk some more stories, if ever that is possible. And love life because we're only here for a short time. So just make every day a good day, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it was a great night, man. This is epic. You're definitely you're the dude, man. We appreciate your time, and we love your talent, we love your music, we love everything that you do, man. Especially the relationship between you and your son. We didn't even dive into that, but Jason is such a talented guitar player.
What he and I have is
Like
very
we need a
special.
part two. We got to do the
Yeah,
Jason
let's do it, and
audio.
let's get Jason on here.
Yeah, we got
He
to.
can give you his
For sure.
perspective of growing up with Irate and all that
Can you
stuff.
imagine that? I'm Phil. Yeah, my dad. Yeah, he's Phil from Irate. I'm like, oh shit. That's great, man. Phil,
Yeah.
hold on. Always my
Thank you
brother.
guys very much.
And
Have a great
again,
evening.
I gotta
And I,
definitely.
I I love everything you guys are doing. So keep it pushing, bros.
if
I'm
you're in
definitely.
town, Dripping's
Yes,
playing. You
I'll
don't
come
have
out.
to ask. Just
You
pull
have my
up.
word.
We're in
If
there.
I'm
All
here,
right.
if I'm here, I'm there.
I know how it is. Sometimes you got things to do and it's no commitment. All right. Okay.
Wife, all that stuff. That's why
Life
I
happens.
can't say for certain right now what I'm doing that day. So, but if I'm free, you'll see me.
Oh
Awesome,
yeah,
man.
like, for sure. Like I gotta. If you're a big Metallica fan, I gotta dig out the pictures. My dad, love him to death. Crazy, crazy
Oh
man.
man.
That's where the wild man comes from. The name from the podcast.
Good.
Uh, I have multiple pictures of him actually with Metallica backstage, and
That's sick.
That's my
there's a
dream.
certain substance back in the day in the '80s that looked like sugar. Let's go with that route.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
my
yeah.
dad, my dad, my dad, love him to death. This legacy I'm carrying for him. making that promise, and he told me, "Chase your
Here
dream."
you are, bro. Pushing it forward. And he's proud of you. I know he is, brother. Hell yeah.
Like I said, I'll send you those pictures when I find them. Right now, I'm currently packing up, moving to a new apartment right now. Then
Well, best
next,
of luck to you. Yeah.
oh, this year is gonna be a wild. Where just became an uncle, first time
Congratulations.
I'm a
that baby.
granddad now.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, really?
My younger son Joey had his first child, and we're all about that too. So
it's a
I love it.
definitely like it feels like a warm experience because I'm one of those guys. I'm okay with kids. I don't usually talk to them because I already feel like I'm that grumpy old man. But like as soon as I saw that little guy and he looked up and grabbed my finger,
Same. Get it.
I was like, my heart is melted. This kid
Yeah,
has my heart already.
exactly. Exactly.
No, it's weird, man. It's like you get older and then you're like, you have kids and they leave when you get older, then you want them back. It's like you want them back because I feel like I put that energy towards my pets. I'm like, am I trying to replace like my kids here or something? Like, what am I doing? Like my mentally. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm ready for my daughter to have a kid. I'm like, it's weird that we think that way.
Yeah.
We're ready for that stuff, but
I
Well,
never
like
thought I'd
I
be a
feel that
granddad.
family is very important.
It
Not that
is.
I want my daughter to have a child. She's still young, but
I told you, Seb, multiple times, when I have kids, your Uncle Seb.
Uncle said, man, no,
Well
no, it's
said.
like when you're young, me and my wife always talk about real quick. We'll close out on this. When you're young, you just want to go out and do things and party and stuff. And like you get older, you appreciate like when I'm around my nieces, it's like such a great time. You know what I mean? It's like I just want to be around. It's like you learn so much from them because they don't have a filter, dude.
No,
You're
it's as
getting
pure as it
pure,
gets.
uncut, raw reality when you're with the kids. I love hanging out with the kids because that's when you're getting the real deal out of life. You know what I mean? You're dealing with some real people, and that's pretty much when you're hanging out with kids. But I miss it. I miss having kids around. It's
We'll
Jacob.
definitely invite you to the collab and Irate to the collab when the interview comes out. And definitely, like I said, when we come to Jersey, I would love to sit down with if Blue's home,
Absolutely.
sit down with you, Blue, Dawn from Lake of the Cadaver. I feel like that will be an episode everybody's going to want to listen to because I feel like you guys are the heart and soul of the East
For
Coast.
sure.
I'd be happy to come back, brother, anytime you guys need me.
Yeah, some in-person stuff would be great, man, too.
And there's just so many stories you can't capture it all in
Yeah, yeah, you can. You
one
can.
evening, so many
And
different
if we
conversations.
want to break the record's 48 hours for an interview. And I could tell you right now, I'm definitely going to have to run to Walmart to get an SS drive.
So yeah, no, I got you, and there's just so much that I mean we could only do, but it was a pleasure, guys. I don't want to drag you guys out, and Phil, love, brother. Thank you
Love
so
back,
much. Thank you
man.
for your time, Jacob.
Welcome,
Love
guys.
you guys, and listen, send me shit. Keep sending
It's
that is
coming.
ridiculous.
When it
That is
finally hits the
ridiculous.
streets, I'm gonna be so happy, bro. You don't even understand.
We're
For
waiting.
me, for
We're
Jay,
waiting.
for Nando, for all of us, for Tom, for all of us, because this has been so many years in the making. But they're closer than we've ever been. And like you saw the video today, you can share it with Jacob. You have my permission. But
I can send it to him. Okay, okay. I
other than
didn't.
that, we'll keep it low until it's ready. But
No problem.
yeah, man. I
When
love
that hits the streets, it's going to cause a problem. It's really.
that's what I'm hoping.
I felt like being like, I wanted to grab my guitar and be like, all right, I quit. I'm out of here. I'm done.
And
I don't know.
Jacob, when you hear it or see it, actually, send me a message. Let me know what you
I'm going to
thought.
send it to you, Jacob.
I like to get your perspective on it.
Oh, for sure. Like I think today, believe it or not, like I was working my 9 to 5 job. I was blaring irate, and I had one of my coworkers walk by, say, "Turn it down," and I turned it up louder, and I was like, "Go fuck yourself."
Well, thank you. Don't get in trouble though at work. We need to make our money.
Hey,
But
I tell my
thank
You
you.
know what,
coworkers.
That means a
Phil?
lot.
I'm not too savvy here. You might have to share it. You might have to send it to Jacob.
Seb, we definitely got to get you up to date with everything.
Here we go. Here we go. I got it. WhatsApp.
All
I
right,
think
well, take it
I
easy,
think we're
Phil.
getting there.
All right, man. Thank you, Jake.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks, Phil.
Sebastian. And I'll catch you guys soon. All right.
All right.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
my
All right,
brother.
brothers.
You guys have
Thank
a great night.
you too.